Everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, let's discuss the INFOSYS API automation interview question and answers. Okay, so let's get started without wasting any time. So the first question goes like, what is the difference between REST and SOAP APIs? You can give the interview ready answer like REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is an architectural style used to build lightweight, scalable, and stateless web services. It primarily uses HTTP methods such as get, post, put, patch, and delete, whereas SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. It's a protocol for exchanging structured information between the applications. It follows strict standards and communicates using XML messages. Okay, so on top of this, interviewer will ask the follow-up question like, which one do you prefer for API automation? You can answer, I prefer REST APIs because they are lightweight, faster, and easy to automate. REST typically uses JSON, which is simpler to read and validate using tools like REST Assured and Postman. Most modern web applications and microservices are built using REST APIs. Okay, so this is how the crisp answer you can provide to the interviewer. The next question goes like, what are the different HTTP methods? The most commonly used HTTP methods are get, post, put, patch, delete, and there are many other, but these are the commonly used in almost all the real-time industry level projects. Okay, so these methods correspond to the CRUD operations like create, delete, update, and deleting the resources. Okay, so let's move on to the next questions. Okay, so the third question goes like, when would you use each of the above HTTP methods? Okay, whatever we have discussed earlier, get, post, put, delete, and patch. When would you use all these HTTP methods? Okay, so the fourth question goes like, what are the commonly used HTTP status codes and what do they indicate? And the next question goes like, what is the difference between path parameters, query parameters, header parameters, and request parameters? And the sixth question goes like, what is a postman and why it is widely considered for API testing? What are collections and environments in Postman? And how do you manage variables in Postman? And how do you write assertions in Postman using JavaScript? They might ask you to write a sample code snippet. Okay, and how do you perform data driven testing in Postman? Are you using CSV or the JSON files? What is a rest assured and what are its advantages uh, of the tool over Postman? Advantages over Postman. And the next question goes like, explain the given when then syntax in rest assured. How do you send get, post, put, patch, and delete requests using rest assured? And how do you validate the response code, headers, response time, and response body in rest assured? And the next question goes like, how do you extract values from a JSON response and use them in subsequent API requests? And 16th one goes like, how do you perform authentication in rest assured? Okay, so for example, basic authentication, bearer token authentication, OAuth 2.0, 2.0, API key. So you can give a sample method names and explain it to the interviewer. How do you serialize and deserialize JSON objects in rest assured? How do you handle dynamic request payloads and reusable request specifications in rest assured? How do you validate complex nested JSON responses using JSON path? How do you implement API chaining in rest assured? What components would you include in an API automation framework? And what is the purpose of each component? And how do you manage test data, environment configurations, authentication tokens, and reporting in an API framework? Then, how do you integrate your API automation framework with CI/CD tools? And the next question goes like, if you were asked to build an API automation framework from scratch, what architecture or the design patterns or the tools and the best practices would you prefer and why would you choose them? Okay. And 25th question goes like, how much do you rate yourself in Java? Can you write a sample code for understanding the custom defined exception? And 27th one goes like to write a program for bubble sort program. Okay, so they'll give an array, you need to sort. Okay, so guys, sorry. If you're looking for end-to-end interview questions along with detailed answers, please do check out for the link in the description and also in the comment section. Answers for all the above interview questions are given in the interview preparation kit. Okay, as I said earlier, I have mentioned the link in the description and also in the comment section. So this interview preparation kit has been crafted after taking 3500 plus automation interviews, and it covers the actual questions asked in almost all the top companies, and it has been designed for 0 to 15 plus years of experienced candidates, that is freshers as well as experienced candidates. Okay, so please do check out. It contains almost 10,000 plus real-time company-wise interview questions along with detailed answers and effective study materials, notes and PDFs for quick learning. Okay, so thank you so much. All the best for your upcoming interview.